individual playmakers from a player like him, sure, makes sense. No Lee Sin ban yet, just saying.
Yeah, with Jarvan banned as well, there's a chance these jungler champion pools will be stretched. With Impulse being the ones to ban away Jarvan 4, they're almost daring TSM to first pick Lee Sin. Santorin is a very capable Lee Sin player.
Keep in mind, there's so many contested things available. Sivir, one of them. Ahri, Lissandra, Gnar, Annie. Okay. Is it the Lee Sin? I believe, am I correct, that Rush has only played Lee Sin and Jarvan so far this split?
You are correct.
Well, then we'll see if Lee Sin gets stolen.
Or whether Rush gets to be thrown onto Kha'Zix, as he said, his old longtime favorite.
That's true.
That was in the previous season, of course. A lot riding on this first pick and on this game even. I feel personally, if you're TSM, they should be going for Ahri. But that is just my opinion.
I agree with you.
I think Ahri's real strong.
Cool. Bjergsen gets a playmaker. Kha'Zix the immediate hover by Rush.
Can I do it?
I think he's going to make it his 4th Lee Sin game in a row, though.
Yeah, that makes the most sense.
And Impulse have gotten better and better throughout this split so far. It's only been a few games, but the last few showings have been quite nice. As I said before, they have a chance at tying for second if they win here. And that may very well be the case for these guys. The Morgana hover so far for Impact. It's strange to see her so highly prioritized. She was nowhere to be seen the last 6 months, for the most part.
It's true.
Now she's a first-round draft.
A lot of times it just takes a few players being really successful at it to get everyone back on the Morgana train. There's other situational things that happen as well. If you think Annie's in, Morgana's a little bit more in. Ahri is nice to have some black shielding for.
This seems unlikely.
I don't know. I've been playing a lot of Udyr and solo queue. Maybe TSM's been watching. Nah.
Whoa.
Common choice.
But we talked about this yesterday. Vi to Morgana, not the happiest matchup. You get a big, bright red circle saying, guys, black shield this person. And usually supports do. Jinx, though, again for Turtle. He already thinks he's got enough peel on his team for this one.
Yeah, TSM, one of the teams that actually favors the Jinx pick a little bit. They picked it week 1, game 1 against Cloud9. Wildturtle went 5-0-10 in that one. They also had the pre-rework Ahri, which was weaker, and that did quite well.
Gotta say, there is a lot of playmaking potential for TSM. Santorin is usually made to be a supportive jungler, more so than a playmaker, but if he can set up kills for his Ahri mid lane, I mean, there is so much kill pressure with Vi Ahri.
I think it's more about that. TSM with Santorin and Bjergsen, the synergy is about that mid lane, not necessarily about the team fights, because they know if Bjergsen gets big enough, it's not necessarily going to matter if someone can black shield a Vi ultimate.
And Impulse, very hesitant to pick their last champion. Strangely, since mid lane's already been revealed, they still want to grab the Maokai away regardless.
True, it allows TSM to, in a sense, kind of pick that top lane.
Yeah, Janna was the thought here. Seeing Morgana already picked, you expect that they're going to pair Jinx with Janna to cover her lack of escapes. And Wildturtle will be able to deal plenty of damage here. Only 2 threats, but who cares? Jinx, Ahri is plenty of damage output. Dyrus considering a tank top lane. Just seems like a well-rounded team composition for TSM if these get locked in.
It would be. A good amount of mobility, strong tank line, good damage. A very standard TSM-esque team composition. Balance in all things. They're not really the ones to go all out or play super protect the carries or super long-range poke or all AD. Nope. Solid mid laner, tank top laner, carry AD.
All right, Team Impulse, you need a mid laner here, unless it's Morgana. That could have been the thing the whole time. I wish. I wish, but I don't believe. Not with a Janna here. Black Shield I don't think is going to be enough to guarantee.
So, XiaoWeiXiao with LeBlanc banned away. There's an outside chance they could throw that Morg in the mid lane, but that's not a very XiaoWeiXiao thing to do. He did get a pentakill against TSM in the playoffs on LMQ last year.
Oh, man.
And he says, okay, let's do it.
Cool.
We haven't seen much Yasuo.
None. First
Instead
pick.
of LCS split. All right. So
I'm excited.
They have knock-up synergy with Lee Sin and Maokai. It would be an attempt of locking down Bjergsen on Ahri when he tries to fly in. But
He's
boy,
very weak to Vi.
Boy, is that a risky pick. Yeah. He is so weak to Vi.
Yeah.
He can't do anything.
Nope.
What do you win wall the ultimate? No.
You wish.
Vi's still going to get you.
Yeah. She is not a projectile.
Well, she is, but not one that is blocked by wind wall.
Oh, dear. Okay, well, Impact going to be a tank in the top lane up against Dyrus. Those guys are going to be big meat walls either way. Both junglers able to make some solo plays or set up their teams. XiaoWeiXiao and Bjergsen also in pretty similar roles in terms of being heavy playmakers with a lot of teamfight impact and a lot of mobility as well. Bursty AD carries, one longer range than the other. We're going to have to see how all the lane matchups set up here.
Handshake. Whew. TSM's team composition is real scary.
Yeah, it is.
It is real scary. But, you know, do not underestimate Team Impulse. They're already 3-2, and they have such a high ceiling just with the individual skill on these guys.
Yes, they do.
Can turn any game into victory.
All right, we'll see if they can make the plays. Once again, guys, we are looking for your input on the match, though. Tweet hashtag TSMWin and hashtag TIPWin to @LLEsports. And we'll recount the votes later in the game. We know the guys in the crowd are clearly voting for GSM. They tend to be quite a bit louder for these guys.
Rather rambunctious crowd we've had today.
I like it.
Waiting for this final matchup. Really the marquee matchup of the day in my eyes. TSM versus Impulse.
Gotta say, there have been some really pleasant surprises today all the same. Dignitas looking better than we expected them to.
Yep.
Teammate also better than typical, so we'll see if Team Impulse can continue that trend of the slightly underrated teams really showing up here. Aww. If it were last week, he would have killed that ward. So right now we start with battle lines and normal lane assignments as well. So we may just see that 2-on-2 that, as you mentioned earlier, TSM not known for being great at.
30 seconds until minions.
It's not like they're awful at it either. It's
no.
a good standard game that TSM can play. Sion against Maokai. Dyrus would be able to get a slight pressure lead early. We'd have to see how Jinx Janna does, and that would almost call attention to the mid lane, but the defensive line was but a ruse. There's going to be some lane swapping attempts. It's all guesswork at this point.
Yeah, that's the thing with holding battle lines like this is if neither team wants to push in, it's just a simple recall in your territory, and you can essentially blind pick your lanes. Both teams blind pick top lane for the duo. But that's going to be the assignments here. Dyrus looks like he will kill the wolves for himself.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, Dyrus dies. And then gets revenge. Pretty fitting to Sion's story overall.
It is. Nice little early game strategy.
Interestingly, he started... Yeah, so when we saw it from Chris yesterday, he started W. Because I'm pretty sure it still counts the passive when you're undead. And he'd get 6 bonus health or so.
Dyrus will get it. Uh-oh. Nah, he's fine. This is the Sion way. Satisfying. All right, so we got 2v2 lanes. Impact actually didn't do any sapling stuff.
Yeah.
So there will be a TP advantage on Maokai, but an experience disadvantage in the bottom lane here.
Only a few minions missing. XiaoWeiXiao already looking aggressive at level 2, pushing Bjergsen in a bit. Bjergsen with biscuits over regular potions here, trading out his buff duration mastery for that.
Warding in this mid lane is going to be more important than usual. Mainly because Bjergsen is such... He gets such support from his jungle. And in order for XiaoWeiXiao to be in that lane successfully, he has to be really aggressive against Bjergsen to avoid getting shoved in.
Uh-oh.
Oh, dear.
Already. Nice play by Bjergsen. Notices one minion's going to die. Charm it right away.
What an early gank. And a buy! behind!
A bind into the queue. Wildturtle's exhausted. He flashes out, but Rush hops to a trinket ward. Summoner heal, though, means he's going to trade his flash away for that one. Pulls Lustboy's exhaust as well. 3 summoners for 2.
So speaking of 2v2 lanes, even though that was a gank, it was set up with the Dark Binding. TSM was already getting shoved in by the Graves, which is what happens with the matchup, but he was in a dangerous position, and he honestly does get punished for it. Can't hit them all, as far as Sonic Waves go for Rush.
It moves so slowly you couldn't hear it. He relies on his sense of sound to land on most of his targets, so unfortunate for Rush's Lee Sin. TSM not winning the online vote by as much as I would have thought, to be honest.
Oh man, Bjergsen working around that wind wall wonderfully.
Tags the queue again. XiaoWeiXiao forced back pretty early.
Love it when Bjergsen and XiaoWeiXiao go head-to-head. There's always so much aggression in that lane. XiaoWeiXiao wanted to push the issue on everybody. And Bjergsen just being so good at mid lane in general. Playing a very measured game.
And I'm always curious when I see Yasuo's, what kind of pages they go for. Seems the standard is 2 lifesteal quints, no crit itemization, or masteries, or runes I should say. Just relying on the Avarice Blade for that. People asked what Yasuo would build with the 5% crit nerf on the Infinity Edge.
The same things.
Probably the same things. Certainly going into Shiv on this one. But no like crit runes or anything, just going to rely on 80% crit chance with a full build. So Summoner spells notwithstanding, this game actually holding very close to equal. You can see though, just Adrian walking up puts so much threat on TSM. They have the wards, no there's no Lee Sin here, but still just the fact that they're missing 3 combat summoners.
It's quite
You gotta be afraid of fights.
They do have great ward coverage though. That's one thing they've been able to throw down. They have every single possible approach from Rush warded right now.
And they even have Santorin coming up as well, noticing that top lane will now push in toward TSM. Santorin now behind Adrian. They ping towards him, actually.
This has got to be
Lustboy,
Santorin doing something.
he burns the dash to go in.
Is he just going to finish his recall?
No damage.
Wow.
Wow.
So what was the point of Santorin being there if they're not going to go when Adrian gets aggressive like that and walks well beyond the halfway point without wards? Like that's a... So here's the thing. Impulse has very deep wards in the jungle there, which is why they felt safe, but even so, Santorin had managed to make it through there.
True.
Very surprised TSM didn't decide to go a little bit more aggressive there. They're really just hoping to get the farm from Wildturtle.
All right, now they are down 10. We'll see how many they can get under the turret. Interestingly, Lustboy has picked up 6 CS. More than I would have expected him to. Makes the score, I guess, closer than you would have thought, since you have to add a couple extra ones there.
The lanes themselves are equal in CS, but as far as carry gold distribution, it's 100 in favor of Apollo, which is just a minuscule advantage. But that is all that has happened this game, is that summoner spell advantage, which will no longer be an advantage shortly via no return gank from Rush.
Yeah.
And it will then be about the team fights and the team play.
Oh, XiaoWeiXiao is 6, though. Gets charmed first by Bjergsen.
Trouble.
There's the dashes. XiaoWeiXiao. Good dodge by Bjergsen.
Yeah, and XiaoWeiXiao needed to throw that one out.
Jeez.
He wants to stick around for these last few minutes. He needs support from Rush, who should be getting called to that mid lane to help out.
Bjergsen is flash.
Yeah, he's going to be completely fine. I mean, this would be the perfect counter gank if Rush did anything aggressive on Bjergsen.
Waiting for it. Good win wall.
Whoa. Here's the thing. I mean, this is why Bjergsen is playing so aggressive, is because he has a level 6 Santorin right behind him. They can apply a lot of turret pressure here just because Santorin is called up. This is a very TSM-esque type play, but they're going to end up actually falling away and just having the farm go to Rush.
Yeah. And I got to say, very quick level 6s by both junglers. I tend to not see them get ultis this early. I just tend to see them like sitting in brushes waiting for counter ganks. Not the case for either player. Ults earned before 8 minutes in, and it means everyone has to respect them once again. Now bot lane, I think the power spike does come in for Graves earlier. His sort of level 7, I would say, much better than Jinx's level 7. And so the BF sword timed team fights or just skirmishes would typically go Impulse's way.
Yeah, Apollo need 100 more gold to get a BF sword on Graves. Should be able to get that shortly. You can see the gold totals coming in now. The top lane matchup, which is in the bottom lane, is a total farm fest, as one could expect from Sion versus Maokai with no jungle pressure.
Yeah, just the first few recalls coming in for both sides. Dyrus, I want to know if he goes Cowl or if he goes for the Fast Frozen Heart, knowing that he's facing a magic damage laner. Hedges his bets, gets health and armor.
I think that's the smart call overall. In fact, Dyrus can turn himself into a brick wall this game. The team composition from Impulse is incredibly physical damage heavy, and they have very few things to keep TSM honest in their build paths. It's not like they have a true damage Vayne or a split damage physical damage dealer somewhere. They're all physical damage. And when Dyrus tanks up, it's not like Maokai is going to kill him with his magic damage.
Yeah.
Dyrus and Santorin actually should, after their offensive item, at least for Jinx, sorry, at least for Vi, build entirely armor. And it would give TSM a really big edge.
And you're seeing how fearless Dyrus is right now, clearing a pink ward in full view. Nothing to be afraid of. Rash is going to pop his vision onto a ward as he runs around through the map. Bjergsen, I believe, has dodged every single knockup from XiaoWeiXiao. Very impressive by him to do so far. Otherwise, he's pushing in. XiaoWeiXiao still grabbing his farm pretty nicely, but Impulse going for a quick push on this one. Janna and Jinx are top lane, sends the rocket out for a bit of scouting and maybe some damage.
Oh no! He got it! That almost never works.
Well, that just happened. Wildturtle busts out the champagne. I would too. The dragon steel is real.
It was blind too.
Oh yeah.
He was like, yeah, they're doing dragon. Let's throw out that. A little bit of luck involved.
Yeah.
With something like that.
You know how when you send rockets in outer space, it's usually like the name of the country on the side?
Okay.
Jinx rockets have TSM on the side. At least the ones that Wildturtle puts out.
In the future. Oh man. That is a huge swing. Especially because of the full physical damage team that Impulse has. They need to get those early dragons going.
Uh-oh. Impact gets found. Vault Breaker's on. Jumps into Lustboy. Immediately knock up afterwards. XiaoWeiXiao is going to go down to Bjergsen. 1v1 in the mid lane. Impact gets out, losing his flash as payment.
To add insult to injury as well, XiaoWeiXiao ends up getting soloed in the mid lane there by Bjergsen. He had invested a little bit of time to go down and help with that dragon, whereas Bjergsen was just able to shove out the lane, putting XiaoWeiXiao at a disadvantage because he was walking into a line of minions and unable to apply pressure. All off of that. I mean, off of the catch and off the kill.
Ooh.
They're taking complete control of this map. He's going to try and ult away.
He's gonna. Headbutts a wall. Good enough.
Too tanky.
Adrian couldn't get in front of him in time to block it off. Exhaust a bit unnecessary in that case. Apollo just left hitting some minions, but you talk about Dyrus being a brick. 2 consecutive binds and an ult from Morgana. Still, like half health, not a big deal.
Yeah. Really, right after that Dragon Steal, so much good happened. Like, XiaoWeiXiao was late to coming back to this lane, sticking around with a little bit too low health, and then because Bjergsen tagged him with both ends of that Ahri Q, it was just lights out for XiaoWeiXiao. And I actually don't know now how Impulse is going to try and get their footing back in this game. They've lost the top tier outer turret, or the outer turret, first tier turret. Yep, something like that. And they've lost the dragon, and they've lost the mid lane. Plus, they're a full physical team against an armor stacking side.
A lot of things are tricky here. They've not been able to push around Dyrus, that's for sure. Static shift for XiaoWeiXiao may help a little bit. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a shift for Apollo. I'd almost think that it'd be worth it in this case. Just add some magic damage crits to split your build around a little bit.
Yeah, almost. It's just Graves is so heavily reliant on his
I mean,
attack damage.
Certainly Youmuu's is good. Impact and Dyrus trading blows, but a level lead for Dyrus makes him a pretty happy guy.
Yep. Very smart build by Dyrus. going just for the health, not needing to itemize magic resist.
Really Warmogs for him, actually.
And now,
like,
the pain
ulti
begins.
in for XiaoWeiXiao. Easy spells to hit from there. Great gank by Santorin. The matchup got opened up. It's almost closed now.
I mean, and Bjergsen even landed the charm. That was such a confident charm. He should have... Bjergsen should have waited for the Assault and Battery to knock XiaoWeiXiao up for the guaranteed charm, but they just made it work even better because he landed the skill shot.
Apollo with Black Shield still forced to flash away, though. Good damage. Wildturtle's gonna slow Adrian. The rocket could be lethal damage, but he goes back for Apollo. Flashes away. Ults it. Tags Apollo, but he lives with 12 health.
There's the backup. A whole lot of it. All 5 members of TSM bottom lane.
Uh-oh, here comes Santorin. The zap's gonna catch Adrian. A lot of spells burned there. 2 quick kills. More for Bjergsen. He's 4-0. Bottom lane outer goes down. 3 turrets as well for TSM.
TSM really taking control of this game, preying on the inexperience of Team Impulse, just getting 1 inch, and TSM's just exploded that close early game into a ton of positive plays around the map. Rush trying desperately against all 5 members of TSM. Nothing he can do.
Nothing at all. 2 turrets and 2 kills for that play. Impact slowly pushes the top lane, but I don't even think he kills the turret for this. He was left alone for a minute straight, and very little happened.
Yeah, Dyrus had shoved him in pretty heavily before the teleport down to the bottom lane. He will probably get the turret when all is said and done, but at what cost? They're already down 4 turrets as a team. This only makes it 3.
4,000 gold and a dragon is the lead for TSM right now. Mid lane, though, under fire from the recalls. Windwall should allow them to take this one down without much counterattack, but will they stay is the question. Bjergsen puts out a lot of pressure. No charm. Binding was close, though.
Wow.
Oh my god, goes in, takes him down! Are you serious, Bjergsen? Rush forced to flash away. Santorin's there. Ulti is up. Will his team chase, though? Kicks him back.
So I don't think you should be giving anybody Ahri in picks and bans on this patch. But Bjergsen in particular is especially bad.
Yeah. He's
got that 1 solo kill. And I mean, it's like the Cloud9 game on steroids after Bjergsen got that first solo kill, because everything is just falling in TSM's favor with Bjergsen right behind it.
There's the charm. There's Impact getting pretty hit right there. Goes down, and now they're re-engaged. They pick up Santorin. They might get Bjergsen, but the damage output from the Ahri and the Jinx is so high. Bjergsen still every single kill on his team.
Another double kill as well. 7 kills now, 15 minutes into the game. Why did he build the Needlessly Large Rod? He should have been building a Soul Stealer if he had confidence in himself after that Xerath game. Everything fell apart here for Impulse. They're not making the proper rotations, and TSM is so far ahead of them with what they're planning to do. I mean, even here, Rush was thinking about a flank, but by the time he got there, all the damage had been done. If they were a little bit earlier, they could have gotten the shutdown on Bjergsen, but they were late, and they did not.
XiaoWeiXiao in a losing proposition here. Knocks up Dyrus, doesn't bother to go for it. No ult so far seen by Yasuo, and at this point, would you even want to try? Going into the enemy team seems like certain death. Frozen Heart done. Half of Warmog as well for Dyrus. His AD team has no damage to deal.
Nope. They need to get onto Bjergsen at some point really early on in the fight, whether it be from a Dark Binding or from a Flash Engage from Impact. But with that, they would need to probably get him while his ultimate, his Spirit Rush is down, because just a Janna shield or a Sion ultimate just to kind of peel back on the rest of Impulse's engaging team would be enough to repel that push. I think TSM's just going to keep grouping mid here, looking for charms to land.
So quick bookkeeping by TSM. They grab the red buff. Dragon's been up for a while, and they're getting in position to take that one down. Should be plenty safe here. Wildturtle over the wall. Santorin tanks it up. Janna shield makes that safe. There we go. Dragon number 2 goes to TSM. 4 turrets to 2 in this game. I want to see what the next target ends up being. Mid and top tier 2 are both available for the taking. Grab the blue buff first as well.
Yeah, Bjergsen going for his Zanya's next. Try and make sure he can't get caught. He's about 500 gold off of that, maybe 300. maybe he can let some others get involved in the kills.
Nah.
Instead of taking them all.
It's team solo mid for a reason, Jack. If he gets assists this game, moral victory for TIP.
Very true. And with all that, it's only a 4,000 gold lead, but the reason it is so lopsided is because of the full physical team from Impulse that needed to get an early lead, being down dragons, being down turrets, and being down gold, to now a Frozen Heart Warmogs Sion.
Oh god, that charm. Rush. Okay, he jumps away.
Mercury treads, very smart buy. The rush there. But he still's got Spirit Rush up.
Adrian's taking so much damage. Sion goes in as well. That is not win-wallable. 1 for 1, though. Actually, the kill onto Ahri, so is there enough happening on the backside of this one? But it's Wildturtle picking up a lot of damage. 2 for 1 so far. Apollo locked up a bit. Impact trying to run away. A little bit of counterattack damage, but Impact's going to get jumped on by Dyrus. 3 for 1 here, TSM. The turret's going to go down as well. And more good fights to the blue side.
Yeah, Bjergsen did fall in that one, but you could see the rest of TSM is still far ahead. In this one. Oh no, Dyrus so strong, can't get him.
Clutch knockup just in time to save his own life, but...
Yeah, I think it was XiaoWeiXiao who ended up catching Bjergsen there with the knockup and bursting him down on top of the amount of Graves burst. That is what the Impulse team was hoping to do against this first pick Ahri if they didn't have the big goal deficit. See, what actually happened? They just completely messed him over. It was I think it was a Maokai as well that hit him in. And Rush was all ready to kick him from the backside, but then when they all piled onto Bjergsen is when they really suffered. Dyrus having some mouse issues during the replay as well.
Yeah, so quick game pause here in the game, but you know what, in the meantime, we have League of Legends to talk about. Santorin barely squeaked away in that fight. There were maybe like 25 health left on that champion. There have been some close battles here from Team Impulse, but of course, every time it goes poorly, it's a bigger and bigger lead for TSM. Bjergsen now with his Zonias and his second blue elixir now. He's actually chugging those.
Bjergsen does that quite frequently.
Yeah.
He will buy those blue elixirs in the mid-game only to, make him do more damage. Just as an update, Dyrus was losing some mouse responsiveness, which is why we had the pause, trying to figure out if he needs a replacement or if the issue will clear itself up. And I actually want to use this opportunity, since Bjergsen's having such a ridiculous game, to talk about presence in League of Legends. Not the gifts you give, but the presence he has in the match. And when you talk to other players, especially like a CLG or a Cloud9, when they're scrimming against Team Solomid, Bjergsen is a type of player who just has more presence than everyone else. Everyone on the map needs to know what Bjergsen is doing and where he's going to be going on the map. It feels like he does more damage than other people. And to me, presence in League is the way you impact the enemy's decision-making. An example of a mid laner who doesn't necessarily have that much presence is Shifter, where you're not thinking about him until the end of the fight, most of the time, when he's picking up the kills. So your decision-making in and around the fight generally isn't impacted. You were always thinking about where Bjergsen is going. And that's something that happened in that last fight for Impulse. Bjergsen dove in, and every single person on Impulse was thinking, get him. So much so that 4 people clumped up for Jinx AoE and a Sion ult, and they got destroyed, only because he commands so much presence on the map.
And you consider the fact that 8, 1, and 2 of his team's 10 kills, he has 100% kill participation. He is doing so much of the heavy lifting for TSM. Some of that's solo kills, some of that's his team fight presence, but you're right, Bjergsen has to be kept track of by Team Impulse. And they've really not done too much on that front. Santorin throws the ward away. Adrian was standing on top one the whole time. Now Bjergsen's going to spot him. Black Shield comes out. A single Foxfire tick breaks his Black Shield.
He's doing a bit of damage at this point. He's got 4 points in Foxfire. And that one Foxfire tick does 265 damage. Of course, Adrian maxing Black Shield, or sorry, maxing Dark Binding, so his Black Shield only shielding 151 damage at the moment.
Yeah. It's going to require like 70 or so magic resist to not get popped by a single Foxfire. Another wave through top goes in. They go for the engage. They find a little bit. Santorin loses some health, but Bjergsen is safe. Santorin still trying to limp out. They finally get the kill. 1-for-0. Rush on the wings. No ulti available for Lee Sin. The re-engage by Bjergsen is a lot of damage. Binding hits. He pops Zhonya's. Impact's going to go down, though. 1-for-1 in this fight, and Jinx is still laying out the hurt. It's going to be pressure on the top lane turret. XiaoWeiXiao has his knockup back again. Rush lanes a Q, hops back out. Nothing else gained by Impulse.
So still a 1-for-1, a good hide and brush strategy there by Impulse, getting some sneak attacks on the Maokai despite this 7,000 gold deficit, but not quite able to stand up to this team. I mean, those static, not even a static shift, just a Jinx rocket doing so much damage. You'd think Impulse would have to fall away from this turret. They're waiting on a Yasuo ult, but it's too late.
There's the rocket, there's the kill picked up. Charm into death. Down goes tier 2. Wildturtle gets excited, finds Rush. One critical kill him! 2-for-0. Impact TP's into the party a little bit late. He's now alone. The slow from Zap, the chaining on down. Windwall might save. Wildturtle flashes in. Bound under the turret though. Wildturtle is gonna go down.
It almost seemed like TSM was blocking him in there after the dark binding as well. They're like, what are you doing, man? Stop chasing kills.
I saw that dance band from Dyrus. That seemed on purpose.
Yeah, making fun of him for his death. TSM playing a little bit loose with the 9,000 gold advantage. Slightly sloppy play getting initiated on by the Maokai, but obviously Impulse overstayed there and TSM was able to capitalize.
And now it's 14-4. It's over 8,000 gold up. Another what's looking like quick game as TSM have so far largely not faltered in this one. Breaking down everything that TIP tries to do. No good scorelines from anybody here. XiaoWeiXiao especially getting soloed multiple times by Bjergsen. Not what you expect to see from that player.
No, especially not after XiaoWeiXiao had such a good game yesterday. But it's a very, we said it's a very aggressive pick against an Ahri. First time we've seen Yasuo this year in the LCS. Just to look at the end of this fight as well. All started because Bjergsen landed the charm on Apollo. Black Shield, too little too late. Jinx Rocket could finish him up. And I think the big reason Impulse was waiting around at that turret is they were planning on a flank initiation for Maokai, who came in right at the end of that fight after they'd lost the kill. That charm doesn't land, they maybe catch TSM in a 5v4 into the turret with Maokai from the back. It just crumbled before they were ready to make the play.
And so unfortunate for Team Impulse that the skill shots are landing from Bjergsen, and the Dane is dodging them himself. Dragon up in 6 seconds. That would be number 3 for Team Solomid. They've got pressure everywhere else. Everything but inhibitor turrets is down. They're going to get the waves pushed up at the very least to start. After these minions drop, though, we might see the Dragon attempt. No real reason to play Siege when there's objectives up, so
yeah,
should be a safe call.
Easily take the 3rd Dragon. And honestly, I think TSM will probably take this Dragon easily and then find either the game-winning fight or the fight that gives them Baron in the red side jungle of Team Impulse. That's just the way this match is going. They're already 9,000 gold up. Ahri is a pick-based champion, and Impulse is going to want to stop that Baron most likely or find a perfect fight somewhere in there. TSM needs to get ward control first and then try and find the fight.
And right now, TSM are doing just that. Dyrus face tanks anything. There is literally no one that can threaten Dyrus as long as his team is within 2 screens of him. Lustboy hit up by Rush. Rush got to be careful. Hops back to Adrian. So many of his safeguards have been defensive, getting away from TSM and how scary they are. A couple of wards do go unspotted, though. The vision's not been blacked out yet. Baron not easy to bait yet by Team Solomid. Pretty big wave in the bot side. No teleport for impact means he can't go there faithfully.
Something to note this game is it is really quite remarkable how XiaoWeiXiao always gets his farm. He is ahead of Bjergsen in CS in a game that is completely fallen apart on a melee champion such as Yasuo. Always impressive. But now TSM, they could find a fight. They got it.
It's going to go for the root.
That's a fight.
Might not be great for Team Impulse, though. They ulti in onto Rush, who ward hops away. Impact tanked plenty of damage and walked away. Slow from Dyrus, though, buys him some time. Flashes away from the Q knockup. And now, Santorin spots Rush. There's nowhere for Lee Sin to go. Santorin gets the kill credit for this one. And TSM look to Baron.
A bit of an awkward assault and battery from Santorin, but it does get the job done. They push back the fight. They knew they had a 9,000 gold lead, and now they can go for Baron with no threat of smite steal. That was pretty much all TSM needed out of that fight, so they were straight to the point. Oh, jumping around that wind wall.
Gets around the wind wall, trades exhaust with XiaoWeiXiao, and out the man goes. Two-man knockup. Adrian does land the stun onto Bjergsen. Ulti not going to be in time. Apollo cannot do what Wildturtle did 20 minutes ago. Another knockup there onto Adrian. Zapple hit as well. Rocket!
Not quite
enough.
Nonetheless, TSM with Baron. Anyone working on banner command? Doesn't look like it. They shouldn't need it to finish out this game.
Raptor Cloak and Kindle Gem here for Lustboy. Bjergsen winning on cooldowns. There's his blue buff. Empowered recall. One last shopping trip, including nearly a Bloodthirster for Wildturtle. And the start of a death cap for Bjergsen. Thornmail done for Dyrus. So many big, powerful items done for TSM. The tanks aren't dying. The damage dealers deal plenty. Apollo still has not finished his second item yet. XiaoWeiXiao yet to deal enough damage in team fights.
And I don't think he'll ever reach a point where he's doing enough damage in team fights.
27 minutes in, TSM look for the mid lane. They have sent Dyrus bot. Nobody topside just yet, although they could get a third super Baron buffed wave going. So far, it's the 0-4-1 split, though. A couple of defensive pink wards for Team Impulse. They're trying to keep the vision up. They're not content to sit inside their base. They want to make TSM work for every step they go forward. You can see wards right outside the turret just to get a little bit more vision at all times.
Yeah, and they're doing the same split push strategy. Sion top lane, daring Maokai to try and clear the minions, which are hard for him.
Wow.
They're just looking for harasser charms on this side, it looks like. And they got a lot of it. They may go in off this or to safely take the turret.
And here we go. Turret goes down now onto the inhibitor itself. 3 dragons in means they move nice and fast. Rocket comes in. Apollo tanks it. And just by pushing their faces forward, that is the first inhibitor kill now for Team Solomid, 28 minutes in. The wave is already their bot lane thanks to Dyrus' earlier efforts, and they can keep this going. Impulse have healed up. Can they try again for round number 2? Jinx ulti is down. No exhaust for Lustboy. XiaoWeiXiao gets a knockup only onto Dyrus. Nothing to do there.
Doesn't even break his shield.
Nope. Bjergsen, though, half HP, did take a bit of poke now. Of course, being Jinx, he can sustain.
Slight risk trying to push this turret, but
18.5. Rush goes in. Nice dash back from Bjergsen. Dodges Santorin, but there's the kill picked up. Jungler dead. Apollo one hit away. Wildturtle can't quite chase, but they find impact. They find XiaoWeiXiao. He's going to trade back and forth. 3 kills picked up in this fight for Team Solomid. Wildturtle goes over the back line. Can't quite find any more, but the inhibitor certainly going to fall now. 2 inhibs dead. A minion wave right there in the mid lane. They're going to backdoor it anyway, though.
Looks like a sub 30-minute victory here for TSM, tying themselves with CLG for first place in North America.
Team Solomid and Counter Logic Gaming, first place teams, both at 5-1. Team Impulse falls down to 3rd at 3-3. What a great victory by Team Solomid, completely in control.
You said it there, completely in control. The first 7 or 8 minutes of this game, you could see the competitive laning phase coming in. Wildturtle blindly stole Dragon from across the map, and everything started falling their way. Not because of the Dragon steal, but that's just the time TSM turned it on. Bjergsen solo killed XiaoWeiXiao. They caught impact in a rotation down from the top lane. They got vision control. They just started executing the TSM plan.
Yeah. And just
very
like
decisive win.
Absolutely it was. Just like how they started the split when they took down Cloud9. Bjergsen, multiple solo kills. We talked about, okay, maybe Santorin picked up Vi so that he can help Bjergsen get kills. Doesn't even need the help. 1v1 purely. 2 or 3 kills in that mid lane matchup. Bjergsen with amazing play, 10-1-6 his final scoreline.
Probably a fair amount of fantasy points after that one. First pick Ahri. No surprise that Bjergsen would be willing to do that. Always a lot of confidence.
It's like a 31 or so point performance.
Just this game. I mean,
yeah, just this game.
Also had the 20-stack Xerath performance.
Right.
So game 1 of the week.
Congrats, Bjergsen owners. A lot of fantasy points for him. TSM 2-0 on the week. They've only dropped 1 game to Team 8 so far this season. They've looked pretty good. One of the first poor showings for the man on your screen right there, Apollo, and the rest of Team Impulse. Not
no one on Impulse looked that good today. Rush got his favorite champion in Lee Sin, was pretty much just shut down. Impact had a rough first game of the LCS, bounced back with some 2 really solid games, and then 0-5-4 on Maokai. Not how he imagined his rematch with Dyrus would end up being.
Yeah.
And it's going to be one of those stumbling blocks, I feel like, for Impulse as they try and work towards becoming a better team.
Yep, they're an entirely new team, right? Essentially, you got to consider it's an entirely new team. Like, one guy stayed together. Well, yeah, any team could consider that one guy stayed, right? Yes.
Bjergsen's just on a new Copenhagen Wolves. It's like, surprise.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
totally different team.
Right, of course. So, yes, Team Impulse, very new, very together. Still, tie for third is not a really bad way to start out a split. 1/3 of the way through, 3-3 with a new group of guys. Not a bad way to go. We've talked so much about how they're kind of the new team with potential, that their individual players should be so darn good that the sky's the limit for these guys.
I mean, we saw up until the 7 or 8 minute mark, they were really holding their own against TSM.
Yeah.
After that, where they got to work on it.
Yeah, Bjergsen did great things and made that whole game fall apart for those guys. So congrats to TSM. Right now, we're going to send it down to Riv, who's standing by.